name's Marcel, and I'm here today on behalf of Astromatrix, and we're going to be exploring the shift from Gemini and Sagittarius into Taurus and Scorpio. So this is the nodal axis shift. So before I dive into this very meaty subject matter, I'd like to ask, please, if you enjoy our content, to like and subscribe, as we do post regular updates. Okay, so before I dive into this, I'd like to ask that you pause and just grab your chart and circle what house is ruled by Taurus in your chart, because this is where the North Node is shifting into, as well as what sign rules your second house, because the second house is ruled by Taurus. And then I would also like you to take a look to see where the natal North Node lies in your chart, as well as the South Node. Because all this work that we're doing is strengthening, well, within transiting nodal axis, it's strengthening our destiny that we're needing to evolve towards. So the North Node is where we're needing to evolve towards. It's the higher vibrational frequency that we're needing to step into in this lifetime. And the South Node represents where we're coming from. So it's old karmic patterns that we're stuck in a loop with. And it's very hard to move from the South Node into the North Node just because those patterns are so deeply ingrained. And I very much feel that this has to do with the messages that we were fed as children in our earlier years, in our informative years, where we didn't have the knowledge or the know-how to recognize that we were in a power situation, a power dynamic that was not aligned with the true essence of who we are. So we were very susceptible to messages that we were fed through those closest to us in our environment. And so because of these messages, we've integrated them as belief systems, and we keep perpetuating those belief systems, and eventually they become patterns in our lives from what our belief systems are based on. So the transiting nodal axis allows us the opportunity to decondition and to reach a more authentic aspect of what is truth for us. So that's quite huge. And the transiting nodal axis is currently in Gemini and Sagittarius. The North Node is in Gemini, the South Node is in Sagittarius, and it very much has to do with mental conditioning, it's mental patterning and belief systems that we have, that we hold as truth in our lives. And so wherever we are fixed in these outdated belief systems or stuck in these outdated belief patterns, this has been shaken up over the last 18 months. So the Gemini-Sagittarius axis it's a mutable sign. They're mutable signs, so it has been quite chaotic. Mutable is about constant change, and it doesn't really have a fixed end to it. It's constantly changing. When it moves in January 2022 into Taurus Scorpio, it moves into a fixed sign, which is about foundation and creating security and stability. So although it's not so chaotic, it does bring emotional intensity, especially because we're dealing with higher and lower end frequencies. So every single sign has, just on the spectrum, has higher frequencies and lower frequencies. In the case of Scorpio, we're here to purge the lower end frequencies of Scorpio in order to transcend into the higher frequencies of Taurus, which is where the North Node lies. So let's unpack what these Scorpio energies are. And as I mentioned earlier, there are these triggers, these patterns that are set about in our lives due to the conditioning and the programming and the messaging that we fed as children about a false sense of who we are. And oftentimes these experiences happen with trauma. And so what happens is, as we age, we learn to establish false senses of power. We also taught unhealthy ways, unhealthy dynamics, power struggles, manipulation, through our immediate environment. And this is how we end up operating in the world, through these unhealthy power dynamics. So this is coming into light next year, when the transiting South Node moves into Scorpio, and it's wanting us to explore these lower vibrational Scorpio energies. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, as well as Mars, traditionally. And so the Pluto energy right now is in Capricorn, which is all about integrity on the healthier end of the spectrum. The unhealthy end of the spectrum, the scorpionic energies, are about power struggles, power play, manipulation, control, fear. It does have to do with resources and other people's money, and also intimacy or lack thereof. So it's very secretive. There are lots of secrets that can be hidden from us, especially when things are not clear and there's power play going on. And so the question that we have to ask ourselves during this period is, where are we potentially manipulating for a false sense of power? Where are we allowing others to manipulate or control us energetically or directly for a false sense of power? And what are the fears that are driving this? And this is deep unconscious work, but this is the beauty of the transiting South Node, is that alongside the eclipses that are happening over the course of next year, of which there will be 4, all of them between Taurus and Scorpio, we are being given these opportunities to call in new energies and release old energies that no longer serve us, which is why it's so important to work consistently with our charts in order to understand what's playing out next and how we can capitalize on the essence of those transits and nodes that are happening for us cosmically. So because of these false messages that we were fed as children, we have established this false sense of power that we move through the world with as a means of protecting us. We're operating in a state of survival. In fact, the majority of the planet is in a state of survival. There's so much disruption and corruption and lies through the media that is fed to us, and we buy into it. But the problem is that because Pluto is all about transcending into truth on its highest level, and because Capricorn, the energy of Capricorn, is about integrity, these false senses of manipulation and power struggle and lies and dishonesty and secrecy and fear, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable because it's not in alignment with truth. Not only is it not sustainable, it also has karmic repercussions. So whatever it is that we put out there comes back to us. And you may already have been experiencing, because we had the new moon recently in Scorpio, and we have the full moon in Taurus, which is a lunar eclipse coming up. You may already be experiencing these power struggles in your lives, this grappling either with your fears, it could be energetic manipulation, secrecy, themes that are happening behind the scene that you are not fully in control of. And so what it's doing is it's starting to trigger and show you that fraudulent sense of power that you're operating with. So the aim here is to dissolve these false senses of power and to come into a place of true power within us. And the way that this happens is through moving into the higher vibrational frequencies of Taurus in North Node. So the transiting North Node in Taurus. And Taurus is about values. And so once we can align with what our values are, people can't manipulate us or play games with us. We no longer draw those struggles towards us because we are in alignment with what is truly ours and what is truly valuable and important for our lives. So it's really getting clear on, what do I want? What has value and meaning for me? Where am I wanting my life to go? People hurt people because they don't, on a deep fundamental level, know what their values are. But when you can align with what those values are, you can see through these power plays and these games and these manipulations. You're no longer operating from a place of survival or fear, because you've dissolved whatever it is that has kept you into a state of lack. Taurus energy is very much about value. It's about abundance. It's about connecting to slowness, steadiness, consistency. It's connecting to sustainability, that which is real and lasting. It's not quick fix or easygoing. The scorpionic energy can present that. It can be this beautiful, shiny veneer of something possible, but it doesn't have the substance behind it to back it up. So the more we can align with our values and what has meaning for us and what is important for us, the more we can start calling in those people into our lives. We can start integrating that in our work environment, and we can start benefiting abundantly from all aspects of our lives, that Taurian Venetian quality. So Taurus is ruled by Venus, and the Venetian quality is very much connected to the senses. So things that smell beautiful, things that sound beautiful, beautiful sounds, good foods, healthy foods, sensuality, good conversations, beautiful aesthetics in your environment. It's really about learning to incorporate more of this into your life, things that really feed you on a deep fundamental level. It's also connecting to the earth, because Taurus is very much connected to the earth. So walking barefoot on the earth, spending more time out in nature has the ability to not only ground you, but reset your nervous system and also help you align with what those true values are. It's the simplest solution when times are stressful, when your fears are coming up, when you're caught up in these power struggles. Go for a long walk out in nature and see how powerfully it resets you. So these are the energies to start bringing into our lives with the Taurus quality, in order to move away from the power struggles towards a deep alignment with what our values are. So it's connection to the earth. The Taurus energy is also very much about sustainability. So it's not about quick spending or impulsively purchasing things in the moment based on survival or fear. It's about purchasing things that last, things that have value, things that will serve you to the end of time. This is not just financial investments, but also energetic investments. It's really about starting to discern what has value and meaning for you, and really getting clear on what those values are before making decisions or entering into situations with others. And so the more we can do that for our lives, the more we can align with that higher vibrational energy of the Taurus North Node. Taurus also rules the head and the neck and the throat. And so this is very much about communication and our expression. And when the throat chakra is shut down, it's very much because of operating from a place of survival based on this false sense of power and the old childhood conditioning that we experience growing up. So the aim here is to start aligning with speaking truth, knowing what your values are, and great practices that can really help support healing the throat chakra are things like singing in the car, singing in the shower, as well as chanting and working with sound vibration. So this starts opening up the throat and releasing whatever survival and fear of expression has been held there. It's also very much connected to the inner child, and this inner child once again is connected to the South Node and the conditionings that happened that established this false sense of power, Scorpio. So it's a very beautiful and powerful transition that's happening for us. And with the Gemini Sagittarius axis, we really got to get a sense of what messages we were fed as children, how it is that our brains and our thinking and our perception of our realities were constructed. And now that we have a clearer sense of that, we can root it by really aligning with what our values are and moving away from the old unhealthy ways on this planet of grappling for power and control as a result of deep, unhidden, unconscious fears. So I suspect we will really get a clearer sense of these fears, and we'll get a sense of how it is that they came into play. So possibly around what age these fears were initiated. You may remember traumas that happened to you in the past that may have ignited these fears. And so through the process of spending time in nature, working with sound, and really allowing yourself to be present with those fears, there's the potential to then shift into what has more value and meaning for you. So I hope that shed some light on the situation that's going to be playing out for us next year. It's an 18-month, it's the transiting nodal axis in Taurus and Scorpio will be in the signs for 18 months. So it'll come out of it in July 2023. So please do share, which houses or which houses the axis lies in for you. And if you have already been experiencing power struggles, I'm curious to know what's been coming up for you. Have you already been feeling it? And perhaps also share with us what you're recognizing has more value and meaning for you. So I also need to mention that because this is connected to the Earth, we also have Uranus, which is in Taurus at the moment. And we also have Venus, which is the ruler of Taurus, going into a huge retrograde. There is a video that we're creating that you can watch on the Venus in Capricorn, just to get a better sense of what that's about. But that's already starting to inform what our values are, the Venus in Capricorn, really aligning with those values. And the Uranus in Taurus is very much shaking things up on this planet and really forcing us to examine that our methods and means of living on this planet are not sustainable. And so slowly we will start integrating more simplicity into our lives as we move forward. And this will come as a result of catastrophic earth phenomena that may play out as a result of our lack of care. So simplicity is the key here, and it's starting to find what really has value and meaning in your life and releasing that which doesn't. So thank you so much for your time and for watching and for your support. Bye for now.